Welcome to season 2 of the Fit to Love podcast show. Hello and welcome to Fit to Love Tasty Tuesdays. All about cooking, all about nutrition, and all about you. Enjoy the show. Having a hard time losing weight and can't figure out why? Did you know there are 7 factors that contribute to weight loss resistance? Come on over to fittolove.tv/quiz and find out if one of those factors is sabotaging you. Today's show, a high-protein, non-dairy yogurt substitute. So one of the most frustrating things about being dairy-free is not having yogurt. And while I loved the consistency of Greek yogurt and it had protein in it and that was really, the creaminess of it, I miss having yogurt, but the current brands on the market that are dairy-free have 0 protein. So it's just like a lot of sugar. And so I haven't had really yogurt for like a long time. And when I found this recipe, and it's used for a lot of desserts. It's chia seed pudding. And people know it as chia seed pudding. But chia seed pudding, while chia has fiber and protein in it and is great for blood sugar regulation, and it's got, again, a great amount of fiber and omega-3 fatty acids for you, so it's a superfood and it's awesome. But as a pudding, it's not necessarily going to replace my yogurt in a high protein kind of way. There are drinks on the market that have chia seed in them, so I'm sure you've seen them. Chia becomes more like gelatin when you add liquid to it. It expands. So we're going to use it as a yogurt substitute. Now, this is a really easy dessert / breakfast to start to really love, especially if you crave that creaminess. So I would give you a caution that be careful because I've been eating a lot of it. And, calories are still calories and fat's still fat, even though, high fat diet is what we promote on a paleo diet, and all the studies show that it's really not, fat doesn't make you fat. We know that, right? So just a caution, because this can get really, really good. So I'm going to give you the basic recipe, and I'm going to recommend that you do the yogurt sort of in a jar like this, or a jar like this. You can do the bigger versions, okay? But again, the more delicious you make this, the harder it is to not eat the whole thing. Now the baseline recipe is 1/4 of a cup of chia seed to a cup of coconut milk, or a cup of water, or coconut, or milk if you're drinking dairy. Let's say you're not even dairy free, you just want to do chia seed pudding. That's fine too. So it's basically like 1 to 3 ratio, right? So I'm gonna add my sustainably grown chia seeds. I'm gonna do, again, like about 1/4 of this container here. I'm not going to measure. Here's why. Because it becomes gelatinous really fast over the course of like an hour to 2 hours. And when you put it in the refrigerator, you're going to know pretty quickly whether or not it's the consistency that you like it. Some people like it thicker, some people like it thinner. So I'm just going to give you the 1/4 of a cup to a cup of coconut milk ratio, and then you can play from there. So, and I'm not going to take out a measuring cup every time I make this. As you can see, I've been making a lot of them. So, and this is, I've been eating this a lot because it's so fun to have something creamy to scoop that is like a pudding and a yogurt that's dairy free and has protein in it. So, now, is the protein from the chia seeds? No. A little. The protein is from the protein powder you're going to add to this. So on the show, I've featured 2 different protein powders. I have featured the Sun Warrior Raw Vegan Protein. So if you are vegan, you can use that. That's a combination of hemp and pea protein. But here's my disclaimer to that. That protein, while it is great for you because it's raw and it's vegan, is a little grainy. It tastes like powdery, and it doesn't dissolve quite as nicely as the J-Rob egg white protein. So if you're not a vegan, use this one. There's the vanilla and the chocolate, and there's even a plain one. I'm not a big fan of the plain for things like protein shakes, but the plain might work just fine because you're going to use other things in this. So I'm not even using a whole scoop. I'm probably using a 1/2 scoop because I'm not necessarily going to eat this whole thing in one sitting. This might be two servings. And I'm going to stir that up just to mix it around because it'll clump at the bottom when you start to add your liquid. Now, in this egg white protein is stevia. In fact, sugar-wise, it has no sugars. It has 2 grams of sugar. Alcohol Not my favorite, but again, not a lot of sugar. So if you want it sweeter, you're gonna add some stevia that we've talked about with Dr. Meg. If you wanna make it like yogurt and just do like a creamy vanilla, then I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla. So I'm gonna add my little bit of vanilla. And again, I'm just gonna stir that around to start. And then I'm gonna add now, you can use full fat coconut milk, this is my favorite, or, I'm sorry, coconut cream, or coconut milk. Let me tell you the difference between the fat content, calories, and all that good stuff. This is 110 calories per fourth of a cup. This is 170 for a third. This is 16 grams of fat, this is 11 grams. This is 2 grams of protein, this is 1 gram of protein. This is 4 carbohydrates, this is 1 carbohydrate, and there's no fiber in either one of them. Now, I opened up these cans and this one is solid at the top, which tells me there's liquid at the bottom, and I'm not gonna stir it on camera. So what we're gonna do is use the full fat coconut cream because it's more satisfying to me anyway. I use it for everything else. And if you're concerned about calories, then the coconut milk is just fine. So I'm gonna use the coconut cream. I'm gonna stir that up, and I might even add some water. You don't have to put the whole thing of coconut cream in here, but obviously the creamier it is, the more fat that's in it, which we want the fat. This becomes a meal substitute because you have protein, fiber, and fat in it. Now the chia seeds provide some fat for sure. Okay, so now I've mixed that around. Make sure you get it off the spoon. And from there, if you just want sort of like a vanilla yogurt, then we're done. Make sure you get this, scrape it all off the sides. Then I'm done. What you can do is do variations of this and add fruit to it. So I add frozen fruit, and at this point, adding frozen fruit to this as it is allows the water from the fruit to help me with the chia seeds, and it'll take up a little bit more room once it thaws. So here I've got an organic mixed berry blend. I've got organic blueberry and organic raspberry. I'm going to say stick to the berries. The berries give that tart yogurt-like thing going on. If you move into, you can do fresh, of course you can do fresh. Frozen is what I always have on hand, and depending on the time of year, you can't always get organic fresh berries. So choose whatever flavors you want, make a ton of them, and just play with what tastes good to you and what you like the best. This one I did was a blueberry raspberry, and it was made with the vegan protein. This one I did actually was a pumpkin. We'll talk a little bit more at another show about the dessert flavors of this non-dairy yogurt substitute that has high protein content. Enjoy your chia seed pudding.